You know, one of the things I needed to wrap my mind around after getting involved in politics, and I couldn't understand it for a really long time, but one of the things I had to try to understand is that not everybody is like me, right? Like when I talk, I try extra hard to make sure every word out of my mouth is accurate. I care about the facts. I care about the truth. It's the most basic thing when you're speaking to try to make sure that it's spot on, that every point you're making is real, okay? I simply could not fathom people who are dedicated as a matter of principle to lying. And guess what? There are apparently a lot of people like that. So what you're about to see here is just an endless parade of MAGA idiots and fascists who, I don't know where they get the nerve from, but this is so utterly fucking shameless. But they went out there and from the second they opened their mouth until the second they stopped talking, they lied over and over and over about the murder of Alex Preddy. Okay? So first let's start with Kristi Noem, this sick cunt. Listen to what she says here. Watch.
An individual approached U.S. Border Patrol officers with a 9mm semi-automatic handgun. The officers attempted to disarm this individual, but the armed suspect reacted violently. Fearing for his life and for the lives of his fellow officers around him, an agent fired defensive shots. Medics were on the scene immediately and attempted to deliver medical aid to the subject, but he was pronounced dead at the scene. The suspect also had 2 magazines with ammunition in them that held dozens of rounds. He also had no ID. This looks like a situation where an individual arrived at this scene to inflict maximum damage on individuals and to kill law enforcement.
Literally not a single part of that was true. And let's be clear, she knows that not a single part of that is true. She doesn't care. She views her job as chief liar, chief propagandist, defender of the regime, defender of the ICE Gestapo, no matter what. And so yet again, we have the shit on video. We can all see it with our own 2 eyes. You have dead-eyed psychopaths who defended the murder of Renee Nicole Good, who looked at this one and went, yeah, I don't know. From the first shit she said, she was wrong. Alex Preddy didn't start any trouble. It was an ICE Gestapo thug who came up to him. He was just trying to protect a woman who was shoved by one of the ICE Gestapo thugs. And so he goes to make sure she's okay. He's holding his cell phone, which is recording. He's got his hand up like this. And then you have an assault committed by the ICE thug where he immediately starts pepper spraying him from point blank in his fucking face repeatedly. And so he's recording, he's got his hand up like this, he gets pepper sprayed, he's on the ground, 8 motherfuckers come out and fucking jump him like it's a gang. At least 5 of them are beating his ass. He's on the ground, basically covering his head, trying not to get fucking permanent brain damage. And then what happens? The legal firearm he's carrying gets taken by one of the ICE thugs, and then another one takes out a gun and shoots him in the back. 10 shots later, he's dead. There was not even the tiniest inkling of aggression from Alex Preddy. Not even a little bit. And by the way, let me be clear. He would have been well within his fucking rights. After the ICE Gestapo thug assaulted him by pepper spraying him for no fucking reason, he would have been within his rights to defend himself. In fact, if he took out his gun right there and pistol whipped the guy or shot him, I think you would have had a very good case that was perfectly justified. Why are you pepper spraying him when he didn't do anything? Why are you assaulting him? Why are you pushing women who he's trying to protect? But no, they always spin it, twist it, mangle it to try to make these fucking vicious sociopaths appear like, oh, they're the victims. What did they ever do wrong other than murder innocent people on a seemingly weekly basis? All right, but we're not done. So this is what she's saying. By the way, she shouldn't have a moment of peace the rest of her fucking life. She should never be able to go out to dinner without people fucking telling her she's a murderer, she's a fascist, she's a Nazi, she's a bitch, she's a cunt. Never again should she get a moment of peace. Everybody that's part of this Trump regime, they shouldn't be able to get a fucking reservation at a hotel or a restaurant without people saying, no, sorry, we don't want to serve you because of what you've done to this country. We have like a literal Nazi parasites running this country now, and it's time to start acting like that. It's time to acknowledge that. It's time to realize that. We cannot let them get away with this. Smearing innocent Americans after they were viciously murdered right in front of our eyes. So here's Greg Bavino. And by the way, let me just say this too. CNN, don't do this. Don't do this. All the news networks, don't do this. We're at the point where there's no utility in interviewing anybody from the regime. They are liars. They are going to lie. They are going to make shit up. They are going to insult your intelligence. There's literally no reason to do this. You should make it so nobody wants to fucking hear from them. Because we're going to be over here in the real world where we're talking about what's actually happening, and they just come in here and put a stink bomb of bullshit right in your fucking way. Why? What's the point? Why are you talking to them? Like they're serious. They're not fucking serious. Here's what he says.
And I know you can see it there, and I want to ask you about what you're seeing, because multiple angles of this incident show him holding up a cell phone and recording it, not a gun. Did he at any point pull out his weapon?
See, why are you asking that? We have the video. We know he didn't, like, what's the point? I know she's trying to be like, hey, you're kind of lying, right? But there's no point in even entertaining them, right? There's no point.
Dana, good morning, and thanks for having me. The weapon...
See, you allow him to sit there in his fucking uniform and act all professional. Fuck him.
And we do know that the suspect did bring a weapon, a loaded 9mm high-capacity handgun.
It's called the Second Amendment, you fuck. Oh my God, how quickly the right flipped on the Second Amendment. Oh my God, you literally have people now, Republicans now saying, he showed up armed to a protest? Yeah, and that was something that was okay with you guys until what, 7 seconds ago? I guess you're allowed to do that unless you're a liberal or a leftist. If you're a liberal or a leftist, suddenly they don't want the Second Amendment to apply to you. Well, you know what that means? It should apply to us more than anybody else. Everybody who's a liberal or a leftist and is listening to this, do yourself a favor. Get armed. Get armed. Because this is actually what they think. They believe, oh, no, the rights are only for us, right-wingers. It's only for us. If you're black, if you're brown, if you're LGBTQ, if you're a liberal, if you're a leftist, they don't apply to you. Which is why they're now acting like it's some scandal that he was permitted to carry the weapon. Oh, my God.
To a riot. We do know that.
A riot? There was no riot. There wasn't even a protest happening there, guys. There wasn't even a protest. Some ICE thug just shoved a woman, and he stepped in to make sure, hey, are you all right?
As far as what happened in that intervening moment with the video that you just showed, that's going to come to light through the investigation. That's being investigated, and those.
So you see the dodge? We're going to have a thorough investigation, and we'll get back to you on that. The reason he's saying that is because he knows it's not true, so there's no way out. So he just goes, oh, we're investigating it. No, you're not. No, you're not. The guy's still on duty, and you shipped him out of the state to avoid any criminal responsibility. Oh, my God.
Facts, and those questions will be answered soon enough.
Oh, my God. Fucking disgusting. Fucking disgusting. More. Listen to this.
With respect, it feels as though in some ways you're blaming the victim here.
The victims are the Border Patrol agents. I'm not blaming the Border Patrol agents. The victim are the Border Patrol agents. The suspect put himself in that situation. The victims are the Border Patrol agents there.
I'm sorry. We can't live with people like this, bro. We can't live with people like this. We can't have a country with people like this. We literally can't. We literally can't. They just don't value the same shit we value. We value truth and accuracy and empathy and equality and rights and protecting those that are weaker among us. We value all the things that we were taught when we were kids. Like, hey, this is how you act. They're the opposite. They seemingly get off on lying. They get off on bullying. They get off on murdering. This motherfucker, and this is a hallmark of fascism, is that as you are total psychopaths, rampaging, committing crimes, murdering, assaulting people, the whole time you play the victim. The whole time you act like, oh, poor is us, woe is us. Woe is you. You motherfuckers got pepper balls, you got pepper spray, you got tear gas, you got firearms on you. By the way, you have court saying you're not allowed to use that, then you fucking use it anyway. You're covering your faces because you know you're committing crimes and you're just trying to get away with it. You're not actually law enforcement because you act like a roving gang of psychopaths because you are a roving gang of psychopaths. This is just Trump's Gestapo paramilitary. That's what it is. And here he is, after we just saw on video an innocent American who was protecting an innocent woman get murdered with 10 fucking shots, never had a chance, got jumped and murdered. Here he goes, oh, the Border Patrol are the victims. This motherfucker should be tarred and feathered and launched into the sun, y'all. No, this is totally unacceptable. By the way, this is so extreme and it's gone so far. Trump is realizing the optics of this don't look good. So Trump just demoted Bovine Boy here, and made it so that I love how Trump thinks like, oh, this will fix it. He goes, oh, I'm going to send Tom Homan into Minnesota instead. So let's replace the maximum psychopath with the person who's like maybe half a step below maximum psychopath. Like, are you fucking kidding me, bro? Are you kidding me? First of all, the guy's got a head that looks like literal ham, okay? Second of all, he was caught taking a bribe in like a brown paper bag, and I think it was like $10,000 or $50,000, something like that. Third of all, just get the fuck out of Minnesota. What the fuck? Oh my God, bro. Oh my God. Do you believe this? Do you fucking believe this? Jesus, I still got more of this. Yeah, this is where he admits one of the craziest things I've ever heard. Watch.
Is the agent or agents, is it your understanding that more than one agent fired a weapon at Alex Preddy?
Again, that's going to be part of the investigation. I'm not going to speculate on how many shots or who shot or that type of thing because I don't know.
Are the agents who were involved still on the job?
Yes. These Border Patrol agents are going to more than likely be on administrative duty, but they will remain Border Patrol agents. Yes.
What does that mean? So they'll be off the streets for a bit?
Not in Minneapolis, they will, but only in Minneapolis here. They'll be at a different location.
They're basically begging everybody to riot. They're begging people to like fight back. Because, like I said, if you shut off every actual avenue for justice, you only have vigilante justice yet. And nature abhors a vacuum. And so if there is no actual justice, vigilante justice to many people will suffice. So this is what we're dealing with in this country, y'all. This is what the Republicans are like. GOP senator politicizes shooting death of U.S. citizen. Listen to what he says. Ready? This is insane.
Today, there's a report of an ICE officer getting his finger bit off, and then unfortunately, a deranged individual that came in to cause max damage with a loaded pistol with an extra mag that was completely loaded was shot and killed. How much more does this got to go on before the Democrat leaders there take responsibility for their words?
I said it a while ago. I said it, and I got a lot of shit for it too. Remember when I was talking about a national divorce? And a lot of you guys were like, I don't know, maybe it's not feasible. How would we actually work that? It's kind of difficult. The details are going to get a little wild, so on and so forth. Yeah, that's all true. But the point was, again, there is no, how do we live with these people? How do we live with these people? How do we live with these people? Here they are yet again playing the victim and lying after multiple innocent Americans got murdered. And it's on video. And they're not even arresting the people who did it. There is no middle ground. There is no compromise. There is no bipartisanship. There is no finding way through. This is fucking, in divorce terms, this shit is irreconcilable differences, y'all. That's what this is. I refuse to share a country with these fucking jack nasty peckerheads, okay? I'm just not interested. If my neighbor was like that, I'd move the fuck away from my neighbor. I don't want to be around somebody like this. You're character assassinating an innocent man who was murdered on video. And by the way, every story we've gotten about him, this guy was literally like an upstanding citizen. And this is what you're doing. This is how you're reacting. And then we also have this. The Minnesota State Prison System suggests Gregory Bovino outright lied about the target of the operation during which agents shot and killed Alex Preddy. So this is something, we've now seen this multiple times. Somebody the other day said, oh, we're going after a pedophile and the protesters are blocking them. Why are you defending pedophiles? Well, come to find out, the person they said they were going after totally lied. That person was already locked up. They were already locked up. And they lied and said, we're going after pedophiles. That's the first point. Second point is, you want to go after pedophiles, go arrest the fucking president. Go to the White House. You got the whole Epstein class. Go arrest all the billionaires and the fucking, most of the Republican politicians. You want to go after the pedophiles? Go do that. But now it's the same thing. So everything's a lie. So they go, oh, no, yeah, we're going after, the reason why we were there is because we were going after this bad person or that bad person. Turns out all the details of that totally fucking fall apart. The person they said it was a violent criminal wasn't a violent criminal. Like it just, and so what ended up, there wasn't even a protest, never mind a riot. And you got this thug pushing a woman, shooting pepper spray at this innocent guy's face. Then he gets murdered after being jumped by 8 of them. And again, if they're willing to lie this brazenly, when it's literally all on video, we've now entered a different phase in this country where there is no more shared reality. There is no more shared reality. So right-wing postmodernism has solidified, and it's become its own beast, its own monster, where they kind of know that they don't live in the same world as you or I, and they don't want to live in the same world as you or I. They don't want to live in the world of actual facts and information. They want to live in their world of comforting illusions and delusions. And so that's why they watch Fox News all the time. That's why they watch One America News and Newsmax, right? But they're now so high on their own supply that, it's all falling apart. It's all falling apart right in front of our eyes. There's this strategy, and I'm going to butcher it here. There's this strategy called DARVO. And what DARVO stands for, it's an acronym for Deny, Attack, Reverse Victim, and Defender. And it's a manipulation tactic used by abusers to avoid accountability when confronted with wrongdoing. It's very classic. It's very Trumpian, very Machiavellian, very manipulative. It's very classic, like what Trump was told by Roy Cohn, the mafia lawyer who he was very close with, where he said, never admit any fault, even if you're obviously wrong, and flip it and go on the offense always. The best defense is a good offense. Change the conversation, attack. And that's why they try to character assassinate all these innocent people who the ICE Gestapo thugs are murdering. That's why you get these exact tactics from Greg Bovino and from Kristi Noem. If they were to allow in any semblance of reality, the whole worldview would fall apart, right? And so now they've built this fortress of lies where everything is made up. Everything is Narnia. Everything is bullshit. And there's it gets back to the thing that we've all been saying for a long time now. It really is a cult. It really is a fascist death cult. Trumpism is. And it's now in its final stages. Like, we're looking at it in its final stages, where they're now willing to defend political assassinations in broad daylight. They're willing to defend MAGA concentration camps. That's what fucking CCOT was in El Salvador. They're building those shits around or in the country too. Like, they're now at that point. So there is no bottom. I said this the other day, but if Trump were to nuke Greenland or Panama or Gaza, I think maybe for like a day or two or maybe a week at most, you would have some people who are kind of not okay with it in MAGA. But after a week, they would come up with a bunch of talking points. They'd all get on the same page and they would act like it's totally fine. And the reason I say that, and I feel comfortable and confident saying that, is because we have two clear examples of murders being caught on camera where no actual reasonable person disagrees, and they're still all in to lie and defend it. And so, again, I don't know how you keep a country going like that. I look at that and I say national divorce is the easiest way out, even though, granted, the details are messy and, it would take a lot to dot the I's and cross the T's and all that stuff. But, we're not dealing with people who just happen to disagree, but they're also grounded in reality. No, they're like total psychopaths, and they're actively sadistic. Again, I don't know how you make it work with that. I don't know how you make it work with that. But there they are. They can't help themselves. And by the way, this segment could have been like literally hours long. I could have put in different MAGA officials and different regime officials, and this one could have went on a long, long time. But I cut it off here. But you get the point. Literally everything they're saying is offensively untrue. But it's just another day that ends in Y.
Hey y'all, do me a favor and like and subscribe. It helps out big time in the algorithm. Click the bell as well for notifications when videos drop, and watch that video on screen right now. You know you want to.